Hello everybody, this is Zoe from No Safer Place, and recently I watched a TV series that I absolutely adored. I did a review of it over on my blog, which I will leave listed in the description box below, and then I read the book and boy do I have some opinions on them both. So I thought I would do a book versus TV series comparisons, what I loved, what I hated, the differences, the similarities. So let's get going with the video. The series that I'm talking about, if you haven't figured from the thumbnail and the title, is You. This is a Netflix original series. I believe this book came out in 2015. And I'll be honest, I knew nothing about the book when I turned on Netflix about a week ago and saw this there. I binged the whole thing in 24 hours and got the book the following day and read that in 24 hours too. So yeah, let's get chatting about it. So if you don't know the premise of You, it focuses on a bookseller called Joe Goldberg who becomes infatuated with this woman that visits his bookstore, using any tools he has available, which, let me tell you, in the online world is pretty flippin' scary and has made me want to delete all my social medias. He delves into the life of Guinevere Beck, and this love for her that he has escalates beyond measure and things get very, very creepy. His online stalking leads to him showing up at her address and watching her for a while, and then his stalking leads to him becoming a part of her life, and that is all I will say on the premise. So let's get on with the comparisons. Now, I saw a lot of things saying that the book and the TV show were pretty similar, and I didn't feel like they were at all. I thought they were really different. My opinions and feelings towards pretty much all of the characters are completely different, and I really struggled with that. I think if I'd have read the book first, my opinions may have been slightly different. I also think if I'd read the book first, I may not have watched the series, because although the book was good, if it had been translated onto the screen exactly as it was in the book, I don't think I would have liked it. Because pretty much everything I loved about Joe in the TV series was completely the opposite of what he was like in the book. In the book, he just wasn't likeable at all. When you was watching the show, you were kind of concerned how much you liked this guy and how much you were almost even rooting for him in certain scenes. And in the book, you just want him to get caught, you just want him out of her life. He is disturbing, he is disgusting. His love for books just wasn't the same. I mean, in the TV series you could really tell that he treasured them and they were some of the most important things in his life and he really cared about them. And it was kind of just glazed over in the book. He wasn't polite or ever really nice to anyone. He was really, really vulgar, which is strange because he shows some vulgarity in the TV show, but in the book, like, the words that he says and the phrases he uses, I can't even really say on here because the video would be taken down. It's kind of that graphic, and because he uses this language so often, it kind of becomes really tedious and loses its effect on the reader. And his relationship with Paco is literally one of my favourite things about the TV series. I think it is the most genuine and pure part of the show, and it is done so beautifully in the TV series. So when I read the book and I was halfway through and Paco wasn't even mentioned, I was really confused. And I got to the end and he just isn't in it. So yeah, the one real redeeming factor of Joe in the TV series doesn't exist in the book. And if you have watched the TV show, there's like a whole backstory to the Paco story and everything gets dark in that, and it's just not in the book. I'm not sure if it's in the second one because I've not read that yet, but I'm assuming it must be, because surely they wouldn't make up this entirely new character with an entirely new backplot, which is a huge part of the story, to be honest, just for the show. I don't know, I'll let you know when I've read book 2. Also, there's a little bit of self-harm in the book, and Joe doesn't really express that kind of behaviour or tendencies in the TV series at all. Now, I don't know if they chose not to do that because it would put quite a few people off to watch that kind of thing. But yeah, it is a little bit of a subplot in the book, so if you don't like reading things like that, I wouldn't recommend this book to you. Now, one thing that I really loved about the TV series was the female empowerment it showed. Now, hear me out. Beck wasn't perfect at all. She was selfish, she slept around a lot, she was flaky, she was bitchy, she really wasn't very nice most of the time. But despite all that, she wasn't victim blamed at all in the TV series. Nothing in the TV show pointed towards that. Everything really was about lifting her up and making her look even better. So when I read the book, and she didn't really sleep around with anyone, she wasn't really that horrible to her friends, she was kind of innocent. There was a few little things, but nothing major. And I just felt like that was a little bit of a disappointment because I was expecting so much more. I just felt like so much more happened in the TV series than the book, which is usually the opposite. When things are adapted to the screen, so much is usually taken away, but I just felt like so much was added to this. The social media presence was so much stronger in the TV show, and I think that worked. I think I know why they did that, because a few years ago, obviously social media was still massive, but I think it gets bigger and bigger every year. So I think the social media side of things brought a lot more people in to watch it, especially younger people. So yeah, I kind of get why they did that, and I think that worked really well. And it also has terrified everyone of what they put on their social media now. Joe in the book is just really seedy and creepy, and I think because he is this way, I don't think he would only ever be fixated on one person. It seems like he's kind of the creep that will take anything that he can get. And again, in the TV show, he's the opposite of that. He would not want to do anything with anyone apart from Beck because he loves her so much. I feel like the love triangle between Peach, Beck and Joe was the only kind of accurate book to on-screen adaptation. I felt like everything about that relationship was done perfectly. I thought it was fantastic, and reading the book to watching it on the screen, there wasn't really many differences because it was all done pretty much scene for scene. When I was watching the TV series, I kind of had doubts that Joe would ever be this awful person that goes around killing people or hurting people or anything kind of bad. Whereas when you read the book, pretty much from the get-go, you are certain that this guy is a serial killer, which I actually kind of liked because I'm obsessed with the minds of serial killers, if you didn't know. I love that kind of thing, so I loved reading about it. Now, I know I have said a lot of negative things about the book, but honestly, from about 1/3 in, it really was gripping and I really enjoyed it. I think it's only coming across that I didn't really enjoy it that much because I absolutely adored the TV series. Like, it is possibly in my top 3 favourite TV series ever. It is that good. But I would highly recommend both the book and the TV series, and I'm now going to get going with book 2, which I think is called Hidden Bodies, and I am really excited for. I know that it's set in LA and I think it has a new female in it, so can't wait to see what Joe does next. Let me know if you've read the book or watched the TV series in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are, if you read both or if you've only done one of them. I would love to hear your comparisons. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you would like to see more of on my channel, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.